The first in the series of federal government town hall meetings was held on Monday in Lagos State's largest commercial city. At the meeting, ministers of the country talked to artisans, traditional rulers, students, and a cross-section of the public. Among the ministers in attendance were Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiko, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema.
When we came in, there were a few things that we met on ground. The first was complete lack of transparency. We had to first deal with a lot of contracts that just didn't make sense, from marine supply contracts for crude oil, to contracts for production, to lifting contracts. And the first thing that we did once we got in was cancel most of those contracts and put them through open bids, so it created transparency. The second thing we did was begin to understand, just like one of my colleagues has said, that at the end of the day, the Nigerian right to know is a right, it's in the Constitution. It is not a gift. And we began to publish monthly reports of the transactions in NNPC. And we have continued to do so till today, so that people can go to the website, see how we're doing, and be able to send questions to us so we can know areas where we're failing and what we need to do. The third thing that we did on the Transparency Index was basically to institute a new policy within NNPC, which is a lot more favorable to people trying to do business. And not think that we're doing people favors when they do business with us. We're actually just providing support for them to help us deliver on the services that we created. The other thing we did was, of course, look at the structure of NNPC, and we've gone through massive reorganization to bring a new process that has been able to enable the company to focus a lot more on delivering business services and taking responsibility for those deliveries. It's a change that hasn't happened in over 20 years. But at the end of the day, what have all these achieved for us? First is that for the first time, the average loss position of NNPC, which was averaging about over 300 billion per month, has been reduced substantially. As of January this year, it was down to about 3 billion. So those are massive movements. The second is that the GSDP, which was basically the OPA program, which we reviewed, has made a savings of over $1 billion over the period of time we're talking about, and that is massive savings. The third is that the payment on subsidies, which last year alone was in excess of $1 trillion, has been reduced to near zero. The only month in which we've experienced a bit of a subsidy gap is the month of March. But even the month of April, we had provided for, because of the fact that we had an over-recovery situation from January to March under the price modulation policy.
I've met with GE and agreed that GE says, listen, we want to partner with the federal government to revive the Lagos-Kano rail line, the old one. Because there are about 30 metric tons of cargoes between Lagos and Kano. And currently, we are not moving up to 200,000 metric tons. The rest are moved by road. Imagine the damage on the road. So this year, we are entering into an agreement with GE. 3 million metric tons. And we have agreed with GE as follows. I give you Lagos Kano, you give me the following. A University of Transportation, because you don't dump technology on us and go. You must give me a University of Transportation. That university will train in railway graduates, marine engineering or marine graduates, and aviation. And GE has agreed to do that. Not enough. I will not let you come into Lagos Kano if you will not also build the factory that will produce the locomotives, the wagons, and the coaches in Nigeria. That again, they have agreed.
Knowledge also that we are in a results-driven business. And perhaps today, results are measured by, in my ministry, how many roads have been finished, how much power do you have, how much housing can you get? Now, those results are not yet delivered, but I assure you they will be delivered. Now, but some results are becoming evident to us in government. And they may seem intangible to those outside government, and I understand that. And the results of clearly understanding why we are where we are. Should we continue to do what was done in the past if it hasn't solved the problem? Now, ECN, the precursor to NEPA, PHCN, was, I think, inaugurated by ordinance in 1950. So that's 66 years. Why hasn't the problem been solved in 66 years? Why did we inherit it? And so I am looking at some of the things that have been done well, some of the things that could have been done better. But I will summarize the power issue simply in one word. There is not enough power. 5,000 megawatts for 170 million people on is just not enough. The solution is delivering more power on an incremental and a sustained basis.
The government and China and Nigeria covered a wide range of areas: economic cooperation, aviation, science and technology, and an RMB Naira transactions, currency transactions. You know, they range from the 200 Nigerian companies and businesses that travel to China with us. And while we are at the investment forum, at the investment and business forum, we signed, I think, maybe about 7 agreements, and we had at least maybe 10 or 20 other agreements that there was not time to sign during the meeting, some of which we then signed subsequently. And I just say that to say that Nigerians are very dynamic people. Chinese are very dynamic people. And frankly, like was said earlier by my colleague, what we really need to do is create the environment for them. They just need the signal from us that will support them, and frankly, they will build this country. So it's not really government building as much as government enabling. And that's something we are committed to doing for you. The second thing is that China also committed to train hundreds of our people, 600 people new at least, in scholarships. And why that is important, because this is something they emphasized during the trip, is the learning effect, the demonstration effect. You know, Nigerians were quick studies. We learn very fast. I'm excited to know that China has invited Nigerians, because of the trust and the relationship that is building, into their country. We've been going there anyway, but it's getting increasing high-level government endorsement. And you can imagine how much experience and wisdom our country people will bring back.
Governance, for instance. We knew, the whole world knew, that a large amount of money were being siphoned out of the country. Money, as the Minister of Foreign, the Minister of Information indicated, that could have been used to help develop our country. And the most responsible thing to do was to engage with those countries that we suspected that a lot of the loot had been deposited in, invested in, and cooperate with them to try to have restitution, repatriation of those funds.
The meeting is expected to hold in 6 geopolitical zones and 2 other cities, which is Abuja and Kano states. It is an interaction between the government and persons from different sectors of the economy.